Coming your way on today's Philadelphia Eagles Now, I'm Chase Sr. Howie Roseman did not make any trades at the NFL trade deadline. Could he make a move in free agency? On the show, the top free agents left on the free agency market who Philadelphia could sign after they did not make a move at the deadline. A programming reminder, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, turn on your notifications, and join us Sunday, Week 10, Eagles-Cowboys watch party. Go Birds, beat Dallas. Let's start off at the running back position. Imagine if Saquon Barkley were to go out. Are you confident in a Kenneth Gainwell, Will Shipley backfield for the Eagles? I'm not. And it would really impact this offense greatly because there's such a big gap between Saquon, who is my leader in the clubhouse to win NFL Offensive Player of the Year with his running and pass catching ability, to Kenneth Gainwell. Now, I do think that the Eagles would be able to scheme up running plays, but Gainwell just doesn't give you the punch of Saquon Barkley, nor do these running backs here on your screen, but you would have to make a depth move. And so where the Eagles are at that running back spot, they have Saquon Barkley, Kenneth Gainwell, Will Shipley. If Saquon were to go down, knock on wood that doesn't happen, he's having a very special season and a career year. It's beautiful to see him stick it to the New York Giants and Giants fans. It would be the Gainwell and Shipley show. And so those running backs that we just showed you would be the top options for Philadelphia. And I think, again, that the Eagles would be able to have success on the ground because look at where they are. Now, a lot of this is predicated to Saquon being a one-of-one player. But Gainwell, we've seen him be successful as a running back in this league. Philadelphia so far in 2024 with their rushing offense, second in yards per game, 8th in yards per carry, second in EPA per carry, 10th in success rate, 4th in yards before contact, 24th in yards after contact, inside runs 7th, outside runs 27th, light boxes 10th. How about this? Stack boxes 5th at 26.9. And with Saquon, explosive runs. He is number one in the NFL with 23 explosive runs. That's where there would be a sizable difference between Barkley and Gainwell because Gainwell doesn't have that vision, the quick jump cut ability, the explosiveness. After all, Saquon is backwards hurdling dudes. And among all running backs, he's second in yards per game, 4th in yards per carry, 12th in EPA per carry. Success rate is 24th, but he's such a home run hitter, and he's also very strong. Yards after contact at 8th. Some people wanted Philadelphia to bring in a wide receiver at the deadline. Howie Roseman did not do that. Hopefully, Jahan Dotson can get going a little bit. The top wide receivers available, Michael Thomas, who was tweeting a lot about Derek Carr over the weekend after Carr was throwing picks. Robbie Chosen-Anderson, the former Temple legend. Chase Claypool, cooked. James Washington. Hunter Renfrow would be an interesting player coming out of the slot, but something has to be up there for other teams to not give him an opportunity because he's been productive. Is he just past his prime as well? Because I do think that he could be a decent option when healthy coming out of the slot with that short area quickness, and that wiggle to get free out of the slot. Of course, Philadelphia is loaded at that wide receiver spot. A.J. Brown, the number 2 highest graded wide receiver in the NFL, according to Pro Football Focus. 23 grabs, 444 yards, nearly 20 yards per reception. And then his running mate, Devontae Smith, he's really performed well the last 2 games. I love this wide receiver duo for the Eagles and the connection that Jalen Hurts has with both of those players. Long balls, intermediate balls, picking up yards after the catch. They are both so dynamic. And then you have Jahan Dotson, who, look, he hasn't been targeted all that much. This year, 7 catches for 71 yards. But this is a former first-round pick who's capable of a lot more. Is he playing out of position? Is he used to being that outside guy? The Eagles have used him a lot as a motion man on some of those orbit motions, and that's helped free up Goddard, Brown, Smith, Barkley. But I just think that when you're more vast and diverse, your offense is a little bit better, and that's why I want to see Dotson get more involved. Offensive line depth. little bit of an issue for Philadelphia. There are some decent names left in the free agency pool. We'll start at offensive tackles. Donovan Smith, David Bakhtiari, Charles Leno, DJ Humphries, Dwayne Brown. The best player here is David Bakhtiari, but after he signed that huge deal a few years ago with the Green Bay Packers, injury after injury after injury. It does help that in the place of Jordan Mailata, Fred Johnson has played pretty well. And then you look at some of the top offensive guards, and here Tyler Steen has stepped in for Mekhi Becton. When Mekhi Becton's been on the field, he's played really good football. But the top offensive guards there, Phil Haynes, Halapoulivaati Vaitai, the former Eagle who started at left tackle in Super Bowl 52 in place of Jason Peterson. He played very well in that game against that Bill Belichick-led defense. You have Mark Lewinsky, Justin Pugh, a Philadelphia area guy who's been touring stadiums, putting together some good content. He didn't have me on his show to talk about the Eagles, so I'm a little bit salty about that, but missed opportunity for Pugh. Hey, if you're watching, I'm here. Tyree Phillips, another offensive guard. He's certainly been up and down throughout his career. For Fred Johnson, a byproduct of Jeff Stoutland University. Of course, there have been some moments where he's played very well. There have been some moments where he has struggled a little bit. When he had to go up against Josh Allen, the Jags' Josh Allen, who is now Josh Hines Allen on Sunday this past week, he struggled. Josh Allen is a player, twitch, bend, one of the top edge rushers in the game. But the week before that, against Trey Hendrickson, he pitched a shutout against him. That's probably why at this point, he's a backup offensive lineman. He's not consistent enough. That's evidenced by the 5 sacks given up. But the emergence of him, the improvements by Tyler Steen, probably has Philadelphia in a safe spot as far as needing an offensive lineman. So with that, this is a natural segue. Do the Eagles need to make a signing? Why for yes and for no? Let me know down in the comments section right now. Game Time, our sponsor for today's Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Game Time specializes in last-minute tickets at the lowest price guaranteed. There are so many elements of the app that I love. Game Time picks, curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy shows, theater events, and more. The all-in pricing tool, you toggle that. It shows you your total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. You get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. The lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference, and the Game Time ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So if you want to go to Eagles, Cowboys, plenty of tickets available. If you want to go to an Eagles game this year in general, home or away, plenty of tickets available. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account. Use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Terms apply. First purchase only. What time is it? Game time. The Eagles could have been in the market for a pass rusher going into the deadline. They elected to not make a move for a player like Zadarius Smith. Instead, the Lions pounced on that. I think the Eagles like where they are as far as young edge rushers on their team. The top edge rushers in free agency, Kemoko Turay, had some decent years with the Indianapolis Colts to start his career. Austin Bryant, Rasheem Green, Shane Ray, Justin Hollins. The pool there a little bit light, because teams are always trying to get after the opposing quarterback and ratchet up that pressure. Top interior defensive lineman, Hassan Ridgeway. He's been a productive player at the NFL level. He's kind of slipped over the last couple of years, but he's a player who used to play for Philadelphia 2019 through 2021, and we saw him be an impactful guy. He's 30 years old. Nick Williams can occupy some space there along the interior. Viliami Fehoko, Jordan Phillips, Jonah Williams, rounding out that list. And you think about where the Eagles are at along the defensive line. Nolan Smith, he's been balling. Jalen Carter, Pro Bowl, All-Pro type of season so far. Jordan Davis hasn't been playing as much, but you have Milton Williams, you have Thomas Booker and Moro Ajomo, who are playing good at defensive tackle. And I just think that's where the Eagles' thinking is. We spent these draft picks on these players. We have spent some time developing them. Now we're starting to see those returns. Why bring in veterans to get in the way of those young players? That development, It's been huge for Philadelphia for now and in the future. Top linebackers. I don't think the Eagles are going to experiment with Shaq Leonard. Unfortunately for him, he was the best, or at least one of the best linebackers in the game. He was up there with Fred Warner to start his career. He landed that big extension and then a few back injuries. He is just not the same guy. Damian Wilson, Deion Jones has been an impactful player in this league, but not for a few years. Andre Smith, Tay Davis. The Eagles made the right call in letting go of Devin White, who signed with the Houston Texans a couple of weeks ago. Nakobe Dean, during this 4-game winning streak, he has been playing excellent football. Zach Bond, I want to see the Eagles sign him to a contract extension. In coverage, against the run, both Bond and Dean used as blitzers. Vic Fangio has put them in a position to succeed. He has maximized them, and they have given this Eagles defense a facelift at that second level and at that first level when they're playing around the line. What was so notable about Bond, how about him on the first passing play of the game against Jacksonville, covering Evan Ingram downfield? That was very, very impressive. Top corners, Darius Slay, a little bit banged up. Isaiah Rodgers has stepped up to play very well in his place. I think that Keely Ringo is capable of being a good player in this league. It's a good problem to have when you're deep at corner, and the Eagles are so deep to the point where Eli Ricks hasn't even seen the field. But if an injury were to happen, this is probably the best position group for all free agents. Xavier Howard, Patrick Peterson, J.C. Jackson, Chandon Sullivan had a cup of tea with the Eagles, and then Aaron Robinson. But one of the themes of this show, and one of the themes for why Philadelphia didn't make a move at the deadline, young players producing. And in the secondary, we have seen that with Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, who have been one of the top overall corners in the NFL respectively. And according to Pro Football Focus, some of the highest graded corners at that position. Top safeties. You have Micah Hyde, Jaron Kearse, Adrian Phillips, Keanu Neal, and Rudy Ford. Again, another list of accomplished players. But you have C.J. Gardner-Johnson. You have Reed Blankenship. I think that Cooper DeJean is capable of playing there. James Bradbury. Avonte Maddox can play a little bit of safety. And I want to see Sidney Brown get on the field a little bit. How about the fumble force that he had on that punt against the Jaguars, which helped get the ball rolling for the Eagles to score their first points in the first quarter all season long. So the top free agents who Howie Roseman could sign, a lot of scrubs, a lot of players who are washed, but a look at some players who, if injuries were to happen, Philadelphia could sign. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Whenever the Eagles make a move, we talk about it, and obviously we give you great coverage every single day year-round.